Welcome, guys. All right, so for ONELab, as we're standing this up and getting it up and running, we've been bringing on lead partners who are participating in getting their hardware and their software up and running in the lab. And so this group represents some of the lead partners. And so can I ask each of you to introduce yourselves on what you do and what your why you joined the ONELab project? So, anyone want? Thomas, do you want to start first?
Yep, sure. Thomas Evanson. I don't know how they scrambled my name on the slide there.
That was all me.
We blame it on Grant, of course. Work at AMD, previously Xilinx, and I'm heading up the open source program office, and I'm also responsible for the system software, the embedded system software strategy.
All right, good morning. My name is John Humphreys. I work for Texas Instruments. I manage a open source product technology team within TI. Our charter is to look at forward-looking technologies, and as the name implies, it's based in open source. We believe strongly that open source and the collaboration it brings is the way to bring about these new technologies in a way that has longevity, that has stability, that has ecosystems around it and such. And so the open source communities around those things are very important to us.
Morning all, my name is Guru Chinnapandar. So I'm from Qualcomm. So I lead the IoT devices and platform within the IoT business, and specific to the ones that we have available in upstream, working with Linaro. So, of course, a big proponent of ONELab, working with them. So we'll hear more from others.
Peter Robinson, I deal with Device Edge. Basically, I make devices run RHEL so our customers can do cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, my name is Yoshio Sato from Renaissance Japan, Tokyo. So I'm recently assigned as MPU ecosystem, partner ecosystem lead, and starting working with partner and creating like new solutions. And as a so Renaissance is not so, I think, kind of first time, especially for non-automotive area, to join this Linaro Connect. So thank you for this invitation. Yeah.
So the first question is, I mean, we're talking about interoperability. Why is interoperability important for your businesses? And do you want to start at the end, Sato?
Okay. Yeah, so for example, our customers are like who use many semiconductor vendors, not only Renaissance, TI, Qualcomm. So like board vendors like some vendor or SBC and also big OEM, of course, need to keep reusability for their application software. They don't want to change the low-level software for every device. So that's why keeping interoperability is quite important for like such customers. And I believe that kind of low-level software is not competitive area we compete, so like simpler like reusability is quite important.
Yeah, so from the Red Hat perspective, our customers don't want to maintain their own distribution. They don't want to maintain a different distribution for every device class. So they just want to run RHEL. They run RHEL in the data center. They run RHEL in the cloud. And so for them, RHEL on the edge is just a natural sort of evolution. But they want to be able to run the same platform but choose the right device for the right job. Yeah. So you'll get different classes of devices, different capabilities, different tool sets, various other bits and pieces. And they want the one process to deal with whatever the device is, secure the device, deal with CVEs, processors, and everything. And so having standardized devices out on the edge like they have in the data center in the cloud is essential, because they're like, why do we need to deal with stuff differently on the edge? We just want it to work the same as it does in the data center and everywhere else.
Yeah.
Right. From a Qualcomm perspective, I mean, we have different classes of chipsets. Again, within IoT, we use them across various capabilities, and then we also have multiple generations. So even within our own ecosystem, I mean, there is a need to have applications, OSes work seamlessly across each one of them. So I think getting to system ready, getting to ONELab is an effort to help us achieve that without really, I think, doing custom solutions for each. So this is going to help us immensely as we move forward.
Okay, at TI, the way we look at it is that we want to allow our customers to focus on their innovation and open source, industry standards, and all the interoperability that brings allows us to get the fundamentals and the basics out of the way so they can focus on the value that they bring.
Yeah, and at AMD, of course, our customers are using our devices all the way from the cloud to the edge, and it's really important that they can interoperate, and more it's a fuzzy line what you run in the cloud, and maybe sometimes you want to do it there, sometimes you want to do it at the edge. Embedded, of course, has been traditionally very fragmented, and for good reasons. Sometimes you want to have a really fast boot time, but otherwise you want to have more discovery and other things and so on. But to set the base with the standards and also have a way to test for those standards becomes really, really important, even if you want to then go and tinker a little bit with it and make it work for your device.
Yeah, thank you. So I mean, you just commented on the embedded ecosystem and being very fragmented and the way that we build things. Just first of all, is this achievable? Like the thing that this path that we're going on for standardization, do you think that this is achievable? And what are the things that's top on your mind that we need to fix to be able to really deliver this well?
I think it is achievable. It's taking a long time, but I think when I started working on this problem, well over 10 years ago, you literally had a different distro, a different image for every single device. Mm-hmm. Now, in the community distro in Fedora, we boot literally thousands of devices, and I have people come up to me and go, I'm running this device and it just works, and I've never even heard of the device. Where 10, 15 years ago, I had heard of the device because every single one was handcrafted and took a whole lot of dedicated time. So we're a long way down the road. We have enterprise customers now running RHEL with devices out of the box, but there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
Another thing I can add is that, like many have said, firstly, of course, you can go certify, you can go make sure your device is compliant to a certain standard, and certified compliance, all of that works. But then making sure that it works in a systematic way at any point in time. Somebody wants to pick up the device, and from our perspective, let's say we have our dev board in there, and then later on ODMs come. So to make sure that the whole ecosystem works at any time, because products can be made any time with any chipset, with any board. Yeah. So to get that going in an efficient way, I think ONELab's going to help us do that.
Yeah.
So like Peter said, it's achievable, but the effort and the focus should be on, so that anybody coming in can expect that, yes, if I pick something up from here, it's been validated, it'll work seamlessly. Mm-hmm. So it is a bold initiative, so I want to make sure that, yes, it goes through.
Yeah.
And I don't think that necessarily we necessarily have to get to perfection day one. I don't know what's happening with the micro. Just having steps going towards a better solution. So if I'm someone who has to integrate something, if I have to fix 4 things instead of 100 things, because the rest of the stuff is there, that's a tremendous help. And of course, we want to get to that it just works. It might take a little bit, but even before that, it's tremendous value to have these things interoperate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right.
So I definitely think that it is achievable. I think we've already demonstrated that. What I really like about OneLabs is it goes from achievable to practical. And I echo everyone's comment that the System Ready certification, I think, is a necessary process in terms of compliance, assurance, and such. But what we're really missing is a continuous assessment, a continuous integration assessment, so that from a practical perspective, the developer will pick up a board and they're looking at the software stack in front of them, that they have confidence. They can go to some authority and have confidence that, yet this configuration is checked out and I can move forward with it. I don't have to spend a lot of time potentially going down a dead end because only particular configurations are really supported in the system ready context.
Yeah.
I think also it's achievable because it's quite especially for developer, no reason not to follow that, right? So quite simple, long term step by step, it should be increasing, right?
Yeah.
No reason.
And last question, I mean, we heard just from what Sergey was saying this morning and talking about what it takes to deploy AI at the edge and providing. Does the OneLab initiative, how does that impact or how does that affect when you or your customers are building products that are using AI? Is this an important part of that?
I think AI is one reason. The world is evolving and evolving very quickly in technology, and security vulnerabilities, connectivity, all of those things are now expected by customers. Nobody is going to deploy or expect to deploy a device where they put it into a factory and leave it there for 10 years. They expect, and things like the EU CRA are driving some of these conversations. They're expecting a 15-year life cycle. They're expecting security updates for all of those life cycles. There's hardware vulnerabilities. I think everyone remembers the beginning of Spectre and Meltdown, and they just keep continuing and coming, and all of these things need to be mitigated. And they're now running AI on these devices. These models need to be updated. Everything needs to be updated. In a lot of cases, they're even multi-tenanted on edge. And so, things like security updates and fixes and, audit and review are critical because none of these companies want to be on the headlines for compromises and things like that. And, they want their, because AI models, as much as data and everything else, are proprietary technology that needs to be protected. And OneLab you can't secure the device unless the root of the trust is secured, and that starts at the firmware and goes all the way through the stack. And so OneLab provides that constant sort of review, renewal, audit process to give customers that sort of peace of mind, so that they don't have to build all of those pieces themselves, because they just don't want to have that large amount of skill set and responsibility. They want the device makers to do it. They want the operating system providers to do it, so that they can rather than having to have teams sitting there responding to this stuff, they can just get alerts. They can say, there's new firmwares, there's new testing, there's new regressions, and all of those pieces. And I think OneLab provides that central place to do that.
Right.
So especially for the cloud native environment, so with AI, so it will be more important edge side interoperability. So I think OneLab will help. So AI environment with cloud native.
Yeah.
Right. I think the infrastructure that OneLab provides, I think that's important, and that's enabling things like AI to scale on the device. So because as the point was made earlier, we've tested it on a certain version and then it works. Now here, I think the infrastructure it provides for SystemReady and other things is just enabling other applications to come through and then to work, make sure that it works in a consistent way.
Yeah.
So it's just an example. Yeah, there will be others.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll go back to how OneLab is really, and SystemReady in general, is allowing people to focus on innovation and the value they bring. And the way I see, at least where we are today, is Edge AI and common platforms are where we want to innovate.
Yeah.
And for me, OneLab is getting all the other stuff out of the way so we can focus on that.
Yeah.
And just to add on that, what I see when I talk to customers these days is that the focus is really more about even accelerating up to the applications, the AI, and so on. And maybe a few years ago it was about which Linux kernel, what are we doing running here. Now that stuff should just work, and they really want to focus on the stuff on top of it and what can we do for them on the AI side. So it's really shifted the conversation, I think.
Good. All right. Okay, well, thank you very much for coming and participating and giving your thoughts. For anyone who's interested in OneLab, certainly come and talk to any of us on the panel to understand more about why we're doing it. There is also sessions today, immediately after the keynote session here, one of the key enabling technologies for OneLab is the Linaro automation appliance, and there is a session on that in the session rooms. And then, of course, there's the workshop this afternoon. But anyway, please join me in thanking the panel for coming up and talking today.